Hello everyone, welcome to the new series of Mastering the Mechanical CAD Modeling with PTC Onshape. When we think about CAD modeling, we always think about installing some software and opening it on some Windows laptop. But it's not always true. Now we can have it on a cloud-based system. So even though I am using Mac OS, it's perfectly fine. I can simply create a CAD modeling either on Mac, Windows or Linux system. It's no more the restrictions. And big thanks to Onshape, which is developed by a PTC. So there are many advantages of using Onshape as it is a cloud-based design. It has a part detailings as well as part modeling is possible. Its real-time version control is also possible. So all the industry level mechanisms which we really follow in the industry all are present over here. You can also build your profile, you can share your models which you have created on Onshape with anyone if you are applying for a job. So that's a very good software which provides a lot of functionality and ease of use, and there is no restrictions of which platform we should use. So let's start learning about the PTC Onshape and how we can create various CAD models with PTC. Now, in this course, I am going to focus on the simplicity, detailing, and learning each and every concept with minute detail. So, let's get started. So, today I am going to show you if you want to just install it, there is no required of installation. You simply have to search PTC Onshape for education. You will get a first site over here. Just open that site, click on sign up now and fill the simplest application. So first name, last name, email address, click on next and keep on continuing and you will get your free account, and it's perfectly free for everyone. Even there is a pricing option over here. You can see that it has a free plan with $0 and which gives us unlimited public storage, CAD tools, real-time collaboration, version control, mobile app and online training. So all those things are available and it's completely free of cost. If there are some standard plan and professional plans which will not be at all required for a learning purpose, so that's why you don't need to think about it. If you are someone who want to create some models for their company, then they can definitely go for standard professional or the industry plan. So let's get started. Today we will cover a simplest design, and for that I have a list of all designs already present which we are going to use. So here I will show you which design we are going to use. So this is a simple design. I will keep it on side so that we will not have any difficulty while drawing. There is no problem to understand what is the dimension and switch between the tabs and etc. So the diagram will always be available over here. Now this is the interface when you start the Onshape software. You simply have to go on create and create a new document. Just give the name. I will give it as a sketch 1 and I will click on create. So once it's get loaded, it will show you a 3 plane. So this is a 3D modeling software. So you will get 3 planes on which you can draw. Now to convert 2D into the 3D, we always require some sketch that is a 2-dimensional, and we can convert that 2-dimension into the 3-dimensional. But before jumping on part modeling as well as assembly, first we should understand how we can create a sketch. Even though if you want to learn any different software, all the systems or most of the content will remain same. So just start with any software, and as this is a completely online software free of cost, you don't have to install anything, you don't require a good configuration, you simply require a browser based application and good internet connectivity. So now let's get started. Suppose we are going to create a sketch on a front plane. Therefore select the option of sketch, click on the plane on which you want to draw. So here I am selecting the front plane, and once I select a front plane, I can start drawing. Over here you can visualize the tools which were present over here are now been changed. Now to bring this front plane parallel to your screen, you simply have to click on this front option. Once you click on it, the diagram will appear like this. So you can consider this as a horizontal x-axis and vertical plane can consider it as a vertical y-axis. Now while drawing, you have to make sure for this diagram, you have to start from any corner. So for this diagram, we will start from the right bottom corner for creating a sketch. So over here on top left corner, you can see a line command. You simply have to click on this line command. On the center point, when you go near to that point, it will highlight. And so this is a type of constraint. So it is a snap constraint. So we are going to pick that point with the simple left click. We will move our cursor in a vertical direction. So if you move it slightly right hand side or left hand side, you will create an inclined line. But when you go very close to the vertical line, you can visualize there is a small black line appeared on the right of the cursor. That shows that it's a vertical constraint. Now you can see the dimension is very small, only 2.44, but I want a line which is as long as 90. No problem, I will just create a one single line which is of 2.44. Press the escape button to remove the chain line. Now here you can see a dimension command. Click on that dimension, and if you want to give the dimension to the line, select that line, move your cursor slightly right side and click where you want to place the dimension and simply enter the value 90. So this will create a very odd zoom, but no need to worry. You can simply drag it on the right hand side. Now this first line is created. Using a scroll, you can simply zoom in and zoom out. So with some practice, you will get habitual with it. Now once you create a first line and give a proper dimension, now you will be capable to draw multiple lines simultaneously. Now over here again go to the line command, and now we want to draw a horizontal line. So again there is a snap constraint which has been auto applied, means 2 points are snapped over each other. So we will pick that first point, move your cursor to the left hand side. So here I am not dragging anything, I am just clicking a single point and releasing my left click and then move my mouse to the left hand side. Now over here I will pick my second point. Now I am going to draw multiple points simultaneously. So it's possible to draw a multiple line. Now I created 3 lines. I can give a dimension, select a line, move your cursor slightly away where you want to place the dimension and simply enter the dimensions, which is 37 in our case. Now for a vertical line, again we will give one more dimension. That dimension is 10. So I will write over here as a 10. I will move my diagram slightly on the right hand side. Now next thing what we want to generate, that this dimension is also pending, that I will place over here, which is 24. It's 24. Now what we want to do, again there is a downward line of 30 and 15. So I will again draw it simultaneously. Pick a point, take a vertically downward line, pick another point, then go on left hand side, one again vertical line and again one horizontal line. So you can see over here some constraints are getting generated, which is like this symbol shows a perpendicular constraint slightly below the cursor. So I am placing these 3 or 4 lines simultaneously. Again I will go to the dimension. This dimension is 30. So I will enter that dimension followed by 15. Again vertical dimension is 23. You have to place those dimensions where it looks much better and cleaner. And for this dimension it's 8. So you can even place it on side if you don't have enough space available over there. Now again we are going to draw inclined line. So over here is my inclined line, which is followed by a vertical line. Now you can see over here a snap is being generated, which is aligning with the initial point where we have started. So you can actually pick it because we know that we want to create a vertical line up to that point only, and then I am going to close it. So this my diagram, a closed loop is generated. That's why the entire closed loop is highlighted with a gray color. Why this closed loop is important? Because when we convert this two-dimensional diagram into the three-dimensional, at that time closed loop is always important. So that is why we should understand that whether what sketch we have drawn is a closed loop or not. Now over here we want to give a vertical dimension, but when I click on this dimension button and I select a line, it only generates a dimension which is parallel to the line. So that is why we cannot define it in this way. Because I want to define a vertical dimension, I will just press the escape key so that it will cancel that command. Again I will go to the dimension command, and instead of picking a line, I can pick two endpoints. Now again you can see over here we can either have a parallel dimension, or if I drag my mouse to the left hand side of the line, it creates a vertical dimension. If I drag my line toward the downward position, it creates the horizontal dimension. So based on your mouse position, it is going to decide that which dimension you want to define. So over here I am defining the dimension 17. Now here you can see one thing. If I define this 17 dimension, I define that 90 as a dimension, and all the vertical dimension I have defined. So the last dimension of 10 is not required to be defined, because it will over constrain your diagram. So which is not required, because you can estimate by subtracting all those additional of this dimension from 90, you will get that value, that is 10. Now only one dimension is pending, that is a 20. So I will just draw that dimension and I will define it as a 20. Now next thing which we want to draw is this rectangle. Now here we know the center of the rectangle, which is at the dimension of 20 from the vertical line and at the dimension of 60 from the bottom line. So instead of picking over here the first corner rectangle, we know the dimension from the center point. So that's why we are going to pick the center point rectangle. Once we click on it, we can define where we want a center, so which is randomly we are picking, and all two dimensions also we will let it be randomly generated, and we will pick another point. Now over here we can simply define the dimension. Go to the dimension command. For the horizontal line, I want the dimension of rectangle to be 21, and for vertical line again I want the dimensions to be 21. Now these dimensions were generated, but we don't know where this center actually lies. So that we can again define it, we are already in the command dimension. So we will select the first point and we want to place a dimension from this line. So I will select it, and over here I am going to place the dimension which is 20. And one more last dimension which is pending, that select this point, then the bottom line, and place the dimension over here which is 60. Now this diagram is being completely placed. If I want this 90 to be moved outside, I can do it. Now this diagram has completed. Now if I want to save it, what I can do? I can simply click on this right button where we show this sketch is completed, and it will be shown over here on the left hand side, which is known as a tree, where we can see all the sketches or 3D models which we have drawn. That will be present over here. Now as this is a web-based program, we don't need to save anything. So you will not see any option such as save over here. You can simply close this document. So once I close this document, I created the name with sketch will appear over here, and if I open it, I will generate the same thing. If I want to see it, I can double click on sketch. I will see it with all dimension. If I want to make this parallel to my screen, which I drawn on front face, over here in the sphere, you can simply click on the front face, so which will create a parallel view for you where all dimensions are properly drawn. So that's enough for the first video. I hope you like this. Please mention it on comment section. If you want me to have some improvements, just you can also comment it in the comment section. So thank you for watching this video. I hope irrespective of platform, you can start learning the CAD modeling. So best of luck for your entire journey.